We've got a new fully Ramblomatic t-shirt available now at our dftba.com merch store. There is no middle finger big enough. That's what it says on the shirt. I mean, that wasn't me editorializing. Buy now. It's the natural law of the creative industries, or indeed any industry, actually. The moment something proves successful, everyone's going to start knocking it off. I mean, it makes sense. You can either wait for a world-beating idea to strike, or just copy what the last big world-beater did, try to leech off their market share, and cross your little fingers in hope that the last big world-beater gets outed as a Nazi or something. But copying stuff takes a lot less savvy than coming up with stuff in the first place, and lately I've noted there are many successful video game mechanics that have been knocked off by multiple hopeful imitators, but the imitators in their lack of savviness tend to leave out little core ingredients that are essential to make the mechanic work. I've brought up before that the Batman Arkham games popularized counter-based combat, but every game that copied it forgot to include the combo system that also incentivized you not to just sit there waiting to respond to attacks, like a bored switchboard operator. Then there's the Batman Arkham games popularizing stealthy pick-em-off one-by-one Predator missions, and everyone knocking those off forgot to create the sense of escalating tension as you thin the numbers so things don't turn really anticlimactic. And here's another non-Batman Arkham related one. Papers, Please. I've played two horror-themed Papers, Please imitators recently, The Last Report and Static Dread, both vying for the Papers, Please sorting paperwork and checking for discrepancies crown, and both of them forgot the vital ingredient that makes Papers, Please work, being on a fucking timer. You're trying to cram as many document checks into the day as possible so you can earn enough money to feed that parade of whiners back home. You're working against the pressure, making you panic and overlook important details. Give us all the time in the world to double check the numbers, and you might as well give us a deck chair and a pina colada and a little half coconut. This sort of thing is very annoying for an appreciator of game design like myself, as I watch these schlubs trying to reinvent the wheel in the name of innovating or differentiating themselves from their inspiration enough to avoid legal action, and ending up fucking the whole thing up. It's like watching someone declare they're going to reinvent the table by sawing 3 of its legs off. And there's one very popular game mechanic that's been particularly needling my inner thighs lately by the thoughtless way it's so often implemented. 3 words, ladies and gentlemen. Skill tree. Zzz. Here is a short list of every kind of video game that can justify having a skill tree. Games with a deep RPG-style character customization where the player is expected to specialize in certain kinds of problem-solving ability. Yes, that was a pretty short list, wasn't it? Skyrim, Baldur's Gate 3, System Shock 2, you can have skill trees. I'm not cross at you, you're good boys, you can go to lunch. Everyone else, stay in your fucking seat, Deus Ex Human Revolution. I am very disappointed by all of you who use skill trees as a cheap way of bringing across a sense of player progress, where you get enough points over the game to basically buy everything on the skill tree, and one player's build is more or less identical to any other. Yes, I am still looking at you, Deus Ex Human Revolution. Stop whispering to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Putting points into upgrades was once exclusively the territory of RPGs, but at some point they started showing up in basically every kind of game because players like improving their stats and unlocking new abilities to play with. It's an effective reward system. But when a skill tree is poorly implemented in a linear game, it feels like being rudely interrupted after every level up to make a choice that doesn't actually matter, because either the player character is on a relatively fixed upgrade path that always ends with them being essentially good at everything, in which case the game might as well have picked the upgrades for us, or the upgrades on the skill tree don't actually do shit. In your average Ghost Train Ride style game, like a Guardians of the Galaxy or a Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the intention is to give every player a more or less identical experience, and for the sake of broad appeal, such games have to be designed to be beatable whatever upgrades the player chooses, as well as if they choose no upgrades at all. And that's where you get skill trees that are boring to pick upgrades from, not because it's hard to decide, but because nothing on offer feels like it would change anything. Full of shit like increase melee damage by 10%. If your melee attack does 50 damage, and the enemy has 100 health, then they'll die in 2 hits, right? If you upgrade your weapon to do 60 damage, they still die in 2 hits. Your experience doesn't change. Video game enemies don't have degrees of being alive. This is all of the same stuff as the live service gear grind number crunching experience, tricking players into putting themselves through the mill for the sake of a plus 1.8% damage boost. It's more a cathartic illusion of improvement than an actual tangible benefit. So, to bring things back around to the start, the one ingredient these token skill trees so often forget to include is that I want to feel, after picking an upgrade, an actual sense of having improved. A new ability to play with, a big fat extra health bar on screen. I want to feel excited about going back into the fray with it, to see how much better I can hold my own now. 1 extra chip of damage or 2 additional iframes added to the dodge are not going to cut it. I was surprised and a little perplexed to see that Donkey Kong Bonanza had one of these token skill trees, where most of the stuff on it was shit like while in elephant mode marginally increased the efficiency with which you can suck things off, rather embodied that game's general lack of tightness about the edges where its design was concerned, which seemed very out of character. Nintendo's first-party games are usually eye-wateringly tightly designed, designed. Could you imagine a core Mario platformer like Mario Odyssey having a skill tree, for example? I certainly couldn't. It would feel so wrong. Nintendo usually subscribe to the philosophy of easy to learn, hard to master when it comes to core gameplay. Mario starts out Odyssey with all the moves you'll ever have, but all you strictly need to know is how to move and jump, which any old twit can figure out. It takes skill and practice to discover and master all the other esoteric jumps, the crouch jump, the long jump, the dive jump, the mid-air dive. It's through all of that the veteran player puts the game over their knee and spanks it silly. Imagine if Mario Odyssey had made you buy all of those from a skill tree over the course of the game. It would have been so inelegant and very annoying for skilled players wanting to spank the game silly from the word go, because they're replaying for the 500th time to try for the speedrun. Still, Bonanza is focused more on punching than platforming, but even so, the only upgrades that are really worth getting are the maximum health increase and the punch damage increase, both of which could easily have been implemented without a skill tree. They could have taken the route of Zelda heart pieces or Gorgoneyes in the first 3 God of Wars, tie upgrading health and attack to collectibles found throughout the world, or rewarded for completing side challenges. That way, you could have thrown the whole skill tree in the bin and just base character progression around exploration and discovery, like what the game's supposed to be about. Yahtzee, the upgrades are already tied to exploration and discovery. You need to find bananas to earn upgrade points. Dismissive voice. The skill tree's still an unnecessary middleman. It's still forcing me to interrupt my monkey fun every now and again to make me pick things from a boring menu, like I got called away from the ball pit by a phone call from my health insurance provider. Anyway, you can get bananas anywhere. You can stay in one corner of one level map and grind up 20 of the buggers. In more general terms, the fact that you can get XP anywhere is the problem with tying upgrades to a level up system. You can stay in the starting forest and murder 10 billion squirrels and get up to level 60 that way. It doesn't directly incentivize actually getting out and engaging with the entire world the way hidden collectibles do. That's why in Dark Souls you start out raising your stats with level ups if you're a huge virgin, but the mighty Dark Souls playing chads know that what really matters is upgrading your weapons with the Titanite found scattered throughout the world. Anyway, that was all I wanted to say. You can all go out to the playground now, except you, Deus Ex Human Revolution. You still have to write out 50 times on the chalkboard, not every melee attack needs to be a fucking cutscene.